All I ask you is that you love me most and obey me at all times, knowing that it is impossible for you to obey me as you should. I help you to carry out wholeheartedly what I ask you to do by repeatedly bringing to you the importance of obedience. When you do what the master says, the responsibility falls on him whom you obey, even when you obey unwillingly. You can leave your mind to my care by remembering me or repeating my name silently as often as you can. I want you to remain undisturbed and unshaken by the force of life's currents, for whatever the circumstances, they too will be of my own creation.
Baba has made it
Ex-
explicitly clear that the three most unimportant things in spirituality are bowing down to me, offering me garlands, and singing my praise of Aarti and other songs. The three most important things Baba said in spirituality are one, love, two, obedience, and three, surrender or surrenderance. Baba uses the word surrender. Now, Baba also says that love is a gift from God to man. Obedience is a gift from master to man, and surrenderance is a gift from man to master. When Baba talks about love as a gift, Baba has said that it is a gift rarely given for the simple reason that the recipient has to be matured enough to accept that gift. Next comes obedience. Baba has been consistently harping on obedience. During Baba's first ever ashram in Manzile Meem in Mumbai, the basic training that was given to the disciples who were originally his own friends and family members, the discipline was of obedience. And time again, he would harp on obedience, which means immediate obedience. Whatever Baba said, you're supposed to do immediately. And when the Mandli, you call it Mandli, disciples, friends, whatever, when they would sometimes ask Baba why he was so insistent on such, implicit obedience, Baba would say, okay, I am training you in such a manner so that whenever I am in a mood to give you that gift, you should be prepared to receive it. Because in a split second, that mood may change. And we have seen Baba's mood. If you have studied Baba's life story, his moods would keep changing. Baba says, if I'm in a mood to give you something, and if I ask you to do something, and if you don't, then that moment is gone. So Baba was very insistent upon obedience. But here the issue is that Baba himself says that obedience is a gift. It is a gift from master to man. So unless the gift is received, how can we obey the Lord? How can we obey Baba? We had said this earlier in one of our earlier sessions that we were fortunate enough to have been invited to Australia in the year 1956.
2008.
I'm sorry, 2008. 2008 was, sorry, 2008 was the 50th anniversary of Baba's visit to Australia, Avatar's abode in Brisbane in 1958. So we were invited. And I've said this before, but I'd like to repeat it because the emphasis is on obedience. And in 1958, there were many people there, hardly a few, perhaps maybe four, five, six people from those times were still alive in 2008 when we went there. And all of them were, when they were narrating their experience of Baba's visit 50 years ago, all of them emphasized that at that particular point in time, and that, by the way, that was the last visit of Meher Baba to the West, he was insisting on obedience. I won't go deep into that, but I can only say one thing, that people there were trembling because Baba's eyes were like, like fire, and he was insisting on obedience. And one of the, at that time, she was a young girl, Joanna, she's still alive. So she narrated that when Baba looked straight into her eyes and asked, Joanna, will you obey me? And she, in a very fumbling voice, and even 50 years afterwards, that voice was trembling, and she was literally in tears because she was reliving those times, those days. And she said, Baba, I will try. She said, Baba, I'll try. The moment she said, I will try, Joanna says Baba's hands flashed like this, 100%, very, very strong, very serious mood, 100%. And in that crying mood, she said, yes, Baba. The moment she said, yes, Baba, to 100%, Baba beamed a very beautiful smile and said, and this is very important for each one of us to understand, and said, if you try 100%, I will help you. This is my interpretation, that although obedience is a gift from master to man, if we try 100%, we are eligible to have that gift from the master. Because Baba himself said, if you try 100%, then I will help you. So it is extremely important for us to try whatever we want to obey 100% of what Baba has said. Now the issue comes up that during Baba's ministry on earth, Baba was physically present, Baba would give instructions, and people would obey or not obey. What about now? Now, where is Baba to give us any orders or instructions? My personal take on this is that Baba has already laid out certain very well defined thoughts about what he wishes out of us. One of them could be my wish, which is very explicit in what Baba wants us to, how Baba wants us to conduct ourselves in life. The other is how to love God. Why how to love God? Because Baba keeps repeating that I have only one message to give, and I repeat it age after age: love God and become God. So obviously that message becomes a very prominent message in terms of obeying Baba. Now that these are the two major ones. Of course, there may be another that they are more academic in the sense of 12 ways of realizing me, or highest of the high, or the the universal message, or Meher Baba's call. These are all very, very profound, very deep messages. But these two basically, I think, it relates to us, as to how one should conduct oneself in life. Apart from these two messages, this is my take, this is how I look at it, and I've been saying this, that once we have done the so-called scouting or window shopping on spirituality to try and find out who's who in the spiritual hierarchy, and once we are absolutely sure, certain, convinced that Meher Baba is the highest of the high, God in human form, the avatar of the age, then it is up to us how we can enthrone him in our hearts. Each one may have their own different ways of doing it. And once having enthroned him in our heart, to develop a, we had done this in the past, to what should I, Baba uses the word, to create a channel between the aspirant and the master. Then you create a channel. You create a kind of a link between yourself, that is the false I, and the real I, which is Baba. You create a link. And after that, once the link is established, and once you keep referring to that link on and off, on and off, on and off, then by and large, you meaning I, everybody, will hear Baba's voice in our own hearts as to what he wants us to do, what would please Baba. Simple as that. And that could be, you can say, you can use that same thing, that could be like obeying Baba, doing what pleases him. And one of the ways, Eraj brilliantly said once, that one of the ways could be that stop doing what displeases him. And then gradually you graduate to a point where you start doing what pleases him. So this was just the background I wanted to give before I read out the message once again. Baba says, this is from Meher Baba Calling, chapter 44, Obey Me. See, another importance of obeying Baba is, and Baba himself says, that even, like obeying with a lot of grudging, you are disgruntled, but still you are obeying, that is better than not obeying at all or disobeying. All I ask you is that you love me most. When Baba says love me most, it simply means, again in my understanding, to give him the most prominent place in our thoughts, speech, and action. He who gives God a second place gives him no place. In other words, everything he has to be given prominence in our life, in terms of our thoughts, in terms of our feelings, emotions, in terms of our speech, and in terms of our actions. All I ask you is that you love me most. That means love him above everything else. And obey me at all times. Knowing that it is impossible for you to obey me as you should, I help you to carry out wholeheartedly what I ask you to do by repeatedly bringing to you the importance of obedience. And in one of the other discourses, Baba had said that the importance of obedience is such that that itself can be considered as a path or a pathway to reach the goal just by obeying him. We don't have to worry about any kind of spiritual sadhanas, or as Baba uses the word, acrobats or whatever it is, gymnastics. We don't need to do any of these things. Just obey his instructions within our own heart. Now that physically Baba is not present with us. And if we have cultivated this practice of constantly looking up to him in our hearts, that is, in constantly, cross-checking all the time. In other words, basically being aware, being mindful, being conscious of his presence around us, with us, and in us. When we do that, it becomes very sahaj, very automatic for us to hear that voice. And once we hear that voice, we are by and large able to obey him. And the beauty of Baba's obedience is that if you try, he helps us to see that we obey him. In other words, he is equally, or rather more anxious that we obey him. Rather, more than our anxiety or anxiousness to obey him, he himself is more anxious because he helps us to obey him. When you do what the master says, the responsibility falls on him whom you obey, even when you obey unwillingly. I've given you one instance of Baba asking the Manli. It's a very rare occasion when Baba would ask the Manli to just sit and sort of think about him or meditate on him. And Bauji was doing this, and Bauji realized that the moment I sit in meditation, so-called meditation of Baba, uh, all kinds of thoughts keep coming. My mind wanders here, there, everywhere. And he saw the futility of doing this exercise. He said, without doing that exercise, I am much better off. I'm much in my control. I can control my thoughts and stuff like that. But when I'm doing this, I go haywire. I just go here, there, everywhere. And there is absolutely no thinking, no thought of Baba. And once when he was doing this, Baba just stabbed him and Bauji said, oh, and Baba asked, what are you thinking? And Bauji said that this is what I think. This is what I am feeling. And Baba very rightly said that, did I say not to have thoughts? What was my instruction? Sorry. What was my instructions to you? What were my instructions? That sit and try to meditate on me. That means the very fact that you are sitting and trying to meditate is obedience. The whole point that I'm coming to is that if you do what Baba is asking you to do, then that is obedience. Baba gave another example, that if I tell you, this is the example, actually he has showed somebody, okay, now you fly. Now it is well nigh impossible for any human being to fly. But because I said to you, fly, you should immediately get up from wherever you are sitting and start doing like this, flapping your hands as if you are flying. Then that is obedience. In other words, Baba gives a lot of importance to trying. Baba knows that we cannot fly. And the man who got up also knows that he cannot fly. But at least he did like this, obeyed, and that was obedience. There are other instances where people, for example, non-smokers, and Baba would, and for those who may not know, there was a time when Baba used to smoke, you see. So he would just take a puff and put a cigar in somebody's, who was that, Sardarji? Anyway, the one who joined in the new life, if somebody can, anyway. Uh, so he just put it in his mouth and he started smoking. And then Baba, as if, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, but in your dharam, you're not supposed to smoke and you don't smoke. And very beautifully he said, Baba, what is there smoking and non-smoking? You put it in my mouth. And so I took a puff. Similarly, for people who are vegetarian, Baba would give something non-veg, a piece of meat, or I remember Dharamnu achar as we call it. That is the pickle of fish raw, and in Dr. Barucha's mouth, and he said he was a vegetarian. Baba said he said the same thing. Baba, what is vegetarian, non-vegetarian when it comes from you? It's all a prasad. So that is what is very important. And during that time only, I think what Baba said was that what goes in is not as important as what comes out. So what comes out is more important than what goes in. We talk about vegetarianism and non-vegetarianism. It doesn't mean that those who are vegetarian should start eating non-veg. I don't mean that. All that I'm trying to say is from all these small incidents, we get to know what Baba wants to convey through those incidents. All right. Then Baba goes on to say, there's a lot of noise coming. Bhaktawar, can you please mute your mic? Bhaktawar, thank you, dear. You can leave your mind to my care by remembering me or repeating my name silently as often as you can. If you really look at Baba's principles, or what to talk about Baba, it is so simple. It is so It's not at all that you have to study so many things and do so. As simple as that. Baba says that you can leave your mind to my care by remembering me or repeating my name silently as often as you can. And Baba had very beautifully said then that it is impossible not to have any thoughts, to keep your mind blank. Unless you are an expert in meditation and you go into that very high state of samadhi, where at that point in time there'll be no thoughts for a little while. That besides that. But Baba also said here how practical it is. That Sardarji's name was Daulat Singh. Thank you, Soumya. Daulat Singh. He was one of the companions of Baba in New Life, but then he was asked to live his new life in a very, very different manner. I'm not going into that aspect now. So how beautifully Baba says that constant remembrance of Baba, or for that matter any name of God, constant, is equivalent to mind being blank. See, when Baba says that there are certain things that which is not easily possible to keep your mind blank. But Baba says if you think of me constantly, repeatedly, as often as you can, then that too tantamounts to keeping your mind blank. So how beautifully Baba is showing us a way out. Similarly for worry, Baba says that it is built into our system, into our mind to worry. There's no way in which you cannot worry. But then Baba gives a way out that if at all you must worry, let it be how to remember me constantly. And that is a worthwhile worry because that will put an end to all other worry. So he shows us a way out of how we can conduct ourselves in our life. I want you to remain undisturbed and unshaken by the force of life's current, for whatever the circumstances, they too will be of my own creation. I would say, poor Baba, he is taking the onus and the blame all on himself. That whatever you are going through, you just blame me. But my understanding again, in reality, we cannot experience any experience unless and until the consciousness of our soul needs that experience. And the consciousness of our soul will need that experience only and only to eradicate or level out or balance out our past corresponding karma. So, in other words, what we are experiencing today, when I say today, I mean moment to moment, is nothing but the fruit of our own past sowing the seeds. If you have sown a seed, you have to accept that. Now your Baba says, think that it is of my creation, Baba's creation. It is of his creation. Why? Because the law of karma is his creation, and therefore it is his creation only. And why? He says, if you want to blame anybody, you just blame me. Why? Because if you blame anybody else, any circumstances, any event, any occasion, any happening, then you are actually again winding the samskaras. But when you are totally putting it on Baba, you are not incurring fresh samskaras because the other party is having no samskaras. I would look at it that way. Samskaras, adan pradan, give and take is when two mortals, exchange, response, react, right? But when one is immortal, when one is having no samskaras, then how can you attract any samskaras from him? You cannot. So this is my logic of looking into Baba's messages. I mean, we can always discuss this. Here ends chapter number 44, Obey Me. Any questions, any sharing? Most welcome. Okay, nobody, right? So then we go on to 45.
Cyrus,
Yes, dear.
when you talk, Jai Baba, when you talk of meditation,
Haji. I know you love meditation.
and
Yasmin
you
and
say,
I have a lifetime of. Okay, go ahead. Go
but
ahead.
it is completely normal for you to feel that way when you sit for meditation. 100 million thoughts are going to come to your mind, but you have to persevere. You have to persevere. You have to wait for that mud to settle down, and then you get the clear crystal water.
Okay. Listen, I don't know about crystal water. What were you doing now from 5:30 onwards? Now it is 5:56. What were you doing? You were meditating on Baba in the most natural, spontaneous manner. That is what Baba expects out of us, meditation in action, and not the type of meditation which is there in the market, which even when what Baba has given in the discourses, because Baba has, in my understanding, very emphatically said that that is for posterity and you need not get into it. So I don't know what is your question. If your question is that it is natural for thoughts to come, then my question, counter question would be, Yasmin, when we were discussing this from 5:30 to almost 20 minutes, did you get any other thoughts? Yes or no?
There are many
You
things
you
I didn't agree with.
you
I
answered
didn't
your own
agree about
question.
that. I didn't agree about that non-veg. I didn't agree about the smoking. I didn't agree because I don't think that Baba actively recommended such things. I think that
Exactly.
as a prasad, yeah, I mean, you take a smoke or something, and you take a piece of fish, that's a different matter. But I don't think that he would, actively promote non-vegetarianism or
No, no, you're
smoking.
mixing up meditation with vegetarianism. I don't
No, she
understand.
was thinking of all those things when
Ah,
you
you
were
were
talking.
thinking, but no, but that is meditation only because I was speaking that. See, listen. When I'm speaking about veg, non-veg, and when you're thinking about veg, non-veg, connected with Baba, in my understanding, that is the Sahaj way of doing meditation. You got me? It is not that you are thinking of something else. You are not thinking about your Vodafone, which is not functioning well, isn't it? So, what I'm trying to say, Yasmin, is that Baba expects us to remember him in the most natural way, and that is the most natural form of meditation. I please do not misunderstand me that I'm
No, no,
against meditation.
I agree with you about the meditation. I'm
Okay.
talking about, I'm talking about that you say that, oh, Baba says eat anything, drink anything, smoke. That all I don't
Not
think
speak
Baba said.
anything. Not
I don't
speak.
think Baba said all that.
What comes out is
No.
speaking.
I never said that. I think there's a lot of gap between what I'm saying and what you are understanding. I said what Baba said was that because somebody talked about vegetarianism and non-vegetarian, Baba said what comes out, that means your speech and how you conduct yourself in life and how whatever, what comes out is more important than what goes in. That is what Baba said. Now if we are going to dissect and bisect about what basically what Baba meant was that it is important to live a life which is pleasing to Baba, rather than debate about all these things which have no importance in terms of loving Baba. Baba had himself said that when you love Baba, that is the supreme. It really doesn't matter who you are, what you do. Baba has said this to some of these Western disciples, that forget about your weaknesses, forget about your weaknesses and all the sinful acts that you may have committed in the past, all your weaknesses will gradually go away. Love will one day overcome all these weaknesses. So Baba is giving importance to love and love and love. I don't know whether I'm making myself clear, Yasmin.
Yeah, but there are weaknesses, aren't there?
So
There
let
are,
it, why think about weaknesses? Think about love. Because the more you think about weaknesses, the more weaknesses will envelop you, because you are giving urja to that which is supposed to be renounced, isn't it?
when Digambar went to America, Dr. Digambar,
Yes,
Kadekar, when he
yes,
went to America,
yes.
Baba gave him strict instructions, right?
No, don't let us not bring any particular person. Baba has given several instructions to several people. I know Baba did give instructions to Digambar Gadekar, but it has no connection to what we are doing right now. You see, Baba may give. See, if you are talking veg, non-veg, but I don't want to get into it. Do you know that Baba ate non-veg? Do you know that Mehramai loved non-veg? Do you know that most of the Mandli would relish non-veg? Do you know that? I'm not advocating non-veg, please. But let us not be so cheap and so narrow as to discuss veg and non-veg and stuff like that, because there are higher things to discuss. And Baba talks about love. Baba talks about obedience. These are things, even if you consider them as wrong or sinful, Baba will take care of these things, because Baba says, do not worry about your weaknesses. They will eventually go. Love will one day conquer it. So let us focus on love. Okay, Yasmin.
Okay, Jai
Thank
Baba.
you. Thank you, dear. And please don't start eating non-veg. Huh? Okay. Okay.
Cyrus,
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Tracy's raised her hand.
Who?
Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy. Yeah, Tracy. Go ahead. Say Baba.
How are you? Nice to see you. So, my question
A little
is,
loudly.
Very, very soft. We can't hear you.
oh, now can you hear me now?
No,
A
very
little
soft.
loudly, please.
Okay, this should be better.
Yes, it is.
Much better.
Okay, technology these days. No. But so basically, my question is: you said about, I think like when you say obeying, there's certain rules, but it can be different from person to person. Like I think if you trust Baba, he will guide you to know
Yes.
what is right for you. For an example, I cannot be vegetarian because I get very sick.
Good.
For an example, so for me, I know what I have. Like food is my medicine, basically. But I don't feel like Baba punished me because eating fish or eating whatever, because it's the way I was made, no?
Okay.
So when it comes to obedience, it's like your inner voice, like the difference, how do you know, is your consciousness or Baba, or it's all the same?
Yes. Only thing is, you must be sure that it is the voice of conscience, and it is not your mind masquerading as the voice of conscience. And for that, you have to go through a lot of trial and error method. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating, means after having taken a certain action, you should be in a state of equanimity, in a state of peace, in a state of joy. If you are feeling all these things after taking that action based on what you thought was the voice of conscience, then that is fine. This is my understanding. Nowhere it is written, but the moment after taking the action, you feel, oh my God, what have I done? Then it doesn't mean that you have done anything wrong. It simply means that you have to still fine tune yourself to that voice.
Exactly. So it's like the ego has its own thinking, the monkey mind, and then is the consciousness and the relation with God, no? So that's the voice that you have to hear when something is like, don't do it, or
Right.
That is unmistakable.
It's all a very individual thing. You may call it a monkey mind, I may call it a donkey mind. So it's all.
That voice is very unmistakable.
We need to fine tune ourselves, all of us.
Okay.
And then only once we are very fine tuned, then it is, like Soumya says, an unmistakable voice. It may be very feeble, but it is unmistakable, and it will see to it that you do what it wants you to do. It's like that.
All right.
We are all. Yeah. Thank you, dear. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you so much.
Anybody else?
Yes, Ram Nori.
Yes, Ram Nori. Ram Nori has no question. He's enlightening all of us. Yes, go ahead, Ram.
No, I'm not. I don't enlighten anybody. If I do, I have to first enlighten myself.
Your name sounds like, Ram Nor I. It means I, Ram Nor I.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
go ahead.
This is regarding non-vegetarian. But in the earlier days, didn't Baba forbid people from cooking non-vegetarian in when initial stages?
Yeah, again,
remember?
Again, yes. At specific, I'll tell you, at specific times, he would not allow his own mandli also to consume non-veg.
Yeah.
No, the mother was never prohibited. Only in the ashram. Only in the ashram it was always not allowed. But outside you can have anything and everything. Even his own mother, she was not. She used to love what we call paplet,
Yeah.
fish, and she used to love non-vegetarian. Nothing of that sort.
Yeah. No, I do know. I mean,
The
that's why
point
I
is,
asked.
there are
Remember the
certain,
story of
yes,
the cat and the fish, so once when Baba forbade people from cooking non-vegetarian, in Mehrabad in those days,
yes,
but Shirin Maya had somebody, bring a fish, from Mumbai,
yes.
Bombay back then. And while she was cooking and Baba smelt it and he said, "Hey, what's happening here?" So he was actually arguing with his mother. And mother said, "No, I'm your mother, so I'm going to do it." And he said, No, nobody can do that. So while they were arguing about, there's a cat that came and just took the fish away and gone.
Yeah. So I was right, Nori, that you are not asking a question, you are
No, I
sharing
did ask
something
you a
more.
question. So Baba mostly, I think
Right.
he used to eat non-vegetarian after the accident because of.
And then Shirin might blame Merog. Merog, this is all your working because of you. The cat came and stole the fish. Yes. Thank you, Ram. Thank you.
Okay, Jai Baba.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. But Baba generally did not allow non-vegetarian in the ashram. Maybe there were a few exceptions. One of them, which I remember, was a day before entering into the new life, when some of the Mandli members, if you, Ram, you remember, Dr. Ghani and Khak Sahib, no, not Khak, yeah, I think, and the Parsis and the Iranis, they wanted to have a drink and they wanted to have a non-veg. Sorry? As the last supper. But we are not going into that. And Baba had been very, what should I say, gracious enough to allow. But the way it was allowed, Dr. Palkar objected to it. And there was another one. Only one. Okay. Anyway, we won't go into that. So in short, in short, what we are trying to convey is that it is not something to be really discussed, veg, non-veg, drinks, not drinking and all that. Because as compared to love for God, these are inessentials. That is immaterial, you see. So that is what we are trying to bring across to the forum. All right. Anybody else?
Yes, Dilshad Kapadia.
Yes, Dilshad.
Hello.
Yes, Dilshad, go ahead.
Just I understand that you do not wish to carry forward this conversation, and rightly so, about veg and non-veg. Just small point that I wanted to make is when it comes to Dr. Hoshan Barucha and the caviar that Baba had put. My understanding that incident was to break Dr. Barucha's ego. It was his ego that Baba was working on. When it comes to veg, non-veg, Baba has given his quotations and they can be referred to. And when it comes to Yasmin's questions also, all I am trying to say is that at the end of the day, Baba has never, I mean, what I understand is that Baba was not that kind of a God or that kind of a master who would put strict yes, no. He would explain the consequences. He has spoken about sanskaras enough for us to understand that there is going to be a reaction. So if you want to eat non-veg or if you want to smoke, then you should understand what you are getting into. So, and when it comes to breaking the sanskaras, the simple solution is love God, take his name at the end.
Thank you, Dilshad.
So
continue being a vegetarian, huh?
I am very much.
I know. That's why I said continue. All right. No, since okay. Thank you.
There is Rakesh Gupta.
Okay, Rakesh.
Jai Baba, everyone.
Yes.
Could you please elaborate on this quote, love one in many and not many on one?
Oh my God.
Love one in the many.
All right. I believe it went on for quite some time after I left the other day. All right. See, when Baba was physically present, his presence included all whom we loved. So we loved the one, or rather, we loved the many in the one. That means we loved Baba, and in turn, automatically it transpired that we are loving all, because we loved all in one. Now Baba is not there at all. but Baba is in each one's heart. So now we are loving the one in the many. That means we are seeing Baba in each and every one, and we are loving that Baba. That is loving the one in the many. This is the phase which money, Baba's sister Money had framed or whatever. And so I don't see it as so much of a difficulty. The basic thing is that when Baba was physically present, the focus and the concentration was on Baba because everybody was in Baba. Yeah, he encompassed everything.
Many.
Yeah, many. Okay, all, rather all. Now that physically Baba is not there, but spiritually Baba is in each one. So we are loving the one in the many. This is how I would interpret. Okay.
But why would you say not the many in one?
Sorry?
I mean, it specifically says that love one in many. Means
No,
you love...
it doesn't say that. No, it doesn't say that. What Mani said was when Baba was there, we used to love the many or love all in one. And now when Baba is not there, we are loving the one in many. It never said that you don't love many like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Dilshad's raised her hand.
Just an input on this point about maniness and one. This thing has been used for previous avatars also. Like for Krishna Bhagavan, there is a Sanskrit slok saying Adaram, Maduram, and describes all the different characteristics. So in that context, what I have understood and read is that you when the God in human form is there, you love and appreciate all the different aspects like Baba's hair, Baba's eyes, Baba's this. So you love the many in the one, and when Baba is not there, it is in everyone that you see, you meet Baba. I'm talking about this in the context of Krishna Bhagavan.
That see, each one is free to interpret it in each way, and nobody is right, nobody is wrong, and it doesn't make any difference whether the whole thing is that you are supposed to love everyone, seeing Baba in everyone. That's about all. But this could be an interpretation. I don't know.
This is not the way Mani coined it, and we were speaking with reference to what Mani had said. So this could be an attribute of God. God is human attributes.
All right. Anybody else? Shall we move on to next chapter? Thank you.
Yes.
45. Awake for all time. When you awake, you find that the great dream containing all the varied illusory aspects of dreaming has vanished forever. Heaven and hell, as well as the planes, vanish within yourself to remain as nothing. In this awakened state, there is no scope for anything besides you, the self, the existence, eternal and infinite. This is the only experience worth experiencing and aspiring after. To gain this experience, you have to become as dust at the feet of the perfect master, which amounts to becoming as nothing. And when you become absolutely nothing, you become everything. Once I am awake in your heart, you too would awake for all time.
This awake business, we've been doing it in different ways. According to the seers, according to those who have realized God, according to Baba, what we consider this, what we are doing right now, as the awake state. Obviously, we feel it's an awake state. But Baba calls it a false awake state. And then Baba gives an example that when we go to sleep, we dream. When we dream, we see things, we hear things, we speak, we move around, we do all kinds of things. And we actually, without any trace of doubt, feel and experience in the dream that we are awake, isn't it? Now, Baba says, supposing I come in your dream and I tell you that, look, this is not an awake state, you are dreaming, this is all a dream, that you're going here, there, everywhere, you're talking to me, whatever, it's all a dream. But you won't believe that it's a dream. Only when you wake up, as it is said, a dream becomes a dream only on waking up. Only when you wake up, you realize that the dream was actually a dream. But as long as we are dreaming, we think, feel, experience everything as a reality. Now, Baba says, time and time again, Baba says that what our experience right now is nothing but a dream. It's a dream. And when we go to sleep and dream, then Baba says it's a dream within a dream. And there are people who would come out with dreams and tell Baba, Baba, I dreamt like this, I dreamt like this. What is the interpretation of that dream? And Baba would just laugh it off and say, what is there to interpret? As it is the whole of creation is a dream, and you are having a dream within a dream. What importance can it have? So here, what Baba is trying to say is that he has come to awaken us from this dream, what we call as the awake state. And how that happens, one of the ways is to shake us, to shake us. Like when we are sleeping, what generally, if you are having a very nice, smooth dream, then what happens is the dream perpetuates, the dream continues. But all of a sudden in the dream, some tiger comes, lion comes, snake comes, or you are having a fall from a cliff. So immediately you wake up. That means something which is not pleasant to your senses comes up in the dream, then you wake up. In the same way, at some times, Baba has to use certain means of suffering, certain means of shaking us up, certain illnesses, certain accidents, certain incidents in our life it may not awaken us to the full awakening, but at least it will give us some idea that this is all a dream, that this is all ephemeral, that this is all impermanent, that it doesn't have the real value that we are giving it. So here Baba says, when you awake, you find that now this awake is in inverted comma, which means the real awake state. When you awake, you find that the great dream containing all the varied illusory aspects of dreaming has vanished forever. When we get up from the dream, what happens? It just vanishes. It was nowhere there, nothing. Even if you want to go back into that dream, I want to go back and dream some more. I don't think you can do that. I don't know. So in the same way, when you really awaken to the reality, to the real I, to the God state, to the Aham Brahmasmi state, at that time you realize that all that Baba was saying was the truth, that all this is just an illusory stuff. Heaven and hell. Ravi, may I request you to, thank you, Ravi. Heaven and hell, by the way, welcome back, Ravi. Heaven and hell. Ravi, your mic is on.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem at all. It's
Sorry.
good, always good to hear your voice. Yeah. Heaven and hell, as well as planes, vanish within yourself, capital S. That is why Baba says, all the stars, all the planets, all the planes, all of creation, all of evolutionary journey, all of angels, all of archangels, all of everything that you can perceive is within your real self. Because your real self is unlimited, infinite, eternal. Everything is within us. That's what Baba is saying. In this awakened state, there is no scope for anything besides you. That means other than you, the self, the existence, eternal and infinite. This is the only experience worth experiencing and aspiring after. That is why Baba time and time again says that except for the experience of you being eternal and infinite, that means the experience of you having realized God, all, repeat, all other experiences are in the domain of illusion, and it has no spiritual importance whatsoever in themselves. If they are helping us to propel us, to catapult us, to make us run towards the goal, to that extent, fine. Other than that, if we sit on aggrandizing our ego, that I saw this vision and I saw that vision and I saw this image and some light and some sound and some smell and all that, Baba says it is all an illusion. It should not be given any importance to. All right. This is the only experience worth experiencing and aspiring after. To gain this experience, you have to become as dust at the feet of the perfect master, which amounts to becoming nothing. In other words, what Baba is trying to say now, it doesn't mean that you run after who is a perfect master today. You don't have to run in search of a perfect master, because for us who are so fortunate, beloved Baba is the eternal living perfect master. We don't have to run, go in search of, hunt for a living perfect master at all. So here Baba says that once you, what is the meaning of becoming dust at the feet of a perfect master? In other words, my understanding is, do not aggrandize your false, limited, finite ego. Do not aggrandize that. When we do not aggrandize, when we do not feed our ego, when we are totally dedicating all that we are and we have and we are doing to the Lord Himself, in my understanding, it could perhaps be tantamounting to there is no ego. In other words, everything is coming from Baba and everything we are giving it back to Baba. Nothing belongs to me. That kind of a frame of mind we have to make it without any false ego. That is what Baba says, which amounts to becoming as nothing. Becoming as nothing does not mean that you don't go for your work, don't do your job, don't do your business, don't take care of your family and children. No, it doesn't mean any of these things. It simply means that you do everything that needs to be done with a detached frame of mind, with a frame of mind that you are not the doer. And when you become absolutely nothing, you become everything. That we have seen it even in God Speaks, Baba says that when you experience the real nothing, that is the fana state, immediately you experience the real everything, which is fana fila. So in other words, sorry? Nirvikal. Yeah, Nirvikal. So in other words, you have to really become the nothing in order to experience the everything. Once I am awake in your heart, you too would awake for all time. So our job, when Baba's supreme message, it is in fact edged, embedded in Baba's tombstone, I have come not to teach, but to awaken. Now, there may be many interpretations. One of the interpretations that I would like to cling to is that he in himself is already awakened, but he has come to awaken himself in each one of us. And in order for him to awaken himself in each one of us, we have to give him that permission, that liberty, that scope, that license. And we can only do that when we gradually diminish our limited or false I, and then his unlimited or infinite I grows. When we say Jai Baba, what does it mean? That victory to Baba. But in a war or in a fight, there is somebody who is victorious and there is somebody who is vanquished. So we have to consciously vanquish our own finite, limited, self-centric I, in order that he is victorious. Jai Baba. Baba is Jai. That way. So one of the other messages which I like very much is Baba's saying that I am in everyone's heart. Undoubtedly, there's no question about that. But I'm sleeping there. It is my old habit. Old would mean right from the gaseous state, maybe. In order to awaken me, you must call out my name. Baba, 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 Baba. Then I who am asleep in your heart will find no pleasure in sleeping. Forget about sleeping or leave aside sleeping. I will have no time to doze. And once you awaken me in your heart, you too will awaken for all time. These are not the exact words. Whenever I quote Baba's messages, they can be here and there. But the meaning behind this is our job in order to awaken Baba within our hearts is to constantly call out to him. It doesn't mean that you just go on saying Baba, Baba. It doesn't mean that. It means to have, like how earlier on we had done, it means to have a channel, a link, a connectivity established between the so-called false I and the real I. And once that link or connectivity is established, we need to keep it clean. We have to keep it through and through, like so that no rust or no plaque or no cholesterol develops in that connectivity, in that connection. And the only way to do is to jog. When you jog, what happens? The cholesterol goes away. What do you do when jogging means constant awareness, constant companionship, constant talking to him? Even if it means fighting with him, it is perfectly okay. He's very comfortable with that. In any which way, you keep him company. And when we keep that company, there is a very, very, very high probability that he may awaken in our hearts. And once he is awakened, as Baba says, you too will awaken for all time. In other words, it is so simple, it is so easy. It's not the rocket science, like you have to do this and do that. It is so simple that we tend to forget about it, that we tend to, just relegate it. Oh, it is so simple. When things are more complicated, if some guru comes and says, you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and sit in this posture and catch your nose like this and catch your this like, then we say, this is something spiritual. But something which Baba says is the most spiritual, and that is constant, wholehearted remembrance. Period. No other thing. That is sufficient to take care of all things for us. So with this, we complete chapter number 45. If there are any questions or if you want to share anything, most welcome.
No one, Cyrus. No.
No one is, everybody is awakened. All right, we still have a minute more. Would you like to sing something?
Yes, Soumya, sing. Sing,
Sing,
Soumya.
no, Baba. Only 1 minute more. What do you want me to say for 1 minute? I will only say Baba, Baba.
Can I ask a question, please? Can I ask
The
the
point,
question?
okay, 1 minute
Cyrus,
I'll just say, and this applies equally to me and Soumya also. We are doing all this 3 times a week or more than that or less than that. Programs happening in Hyderabad, in Pune, in Bhopal, in Bangalore, in circle of friends, in Dubai, in Pune, in Bombay Center. All this is very fine. One way of keeping his remembrance. But I think the most important thing is that are we, let's say, internalizing it? Are we applying it? And as I said, it applies to me as well. Are we applying it in our day-to-day living? If we are doing it, then I think the purpose is served more than 100%. But if we are just rushing to attend these functions one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. In Gujarati, we say, Baba kahan pe jana tha, means we don't achieve anything, we don't get anything. we need we need to really take home something, one little sentence, one little word from each and every program, and try to apply that in our living. Try to practice that, internalize it in our moment to moment living. Then I think it's really well worth it. Then this is a golden opportunity which Baba has given us, thanks to Mr. and Mrs. COVID-19. now, now we are almost whosoever, whatever. So it's a good point. It's a good thing that we are getting this opportunity to meet so often, so frequently. But we must capitalize on that. We must snatch the benefit out of it and put it in our pocket. That means apply that in our day-to-day life. Then I'm sure it will go a long way in pleasing Baba, in achieving what we are here for, what we are here in the sense, not the meeting, but what we are here on this earth in this physical form. All right, now over to Soumya.
There is one song which Baba has written under the pen name of Huma, and of course he has tuned it. मुझे भी आशिके यज़दान बना दोगे तो क्या होगा, मेरे दिल का यही अरमान दिला दोगे तो क्या होगा, मेरे दिल का यही अरमान दिला दोगे तो क्या होगा, खुदी से सर बसर कर खुद कहाँ मुझको दिखे हक नूर, खुदी से सर बसर कर खुद कहाँ मुझको दिखे हक नूर, खुदी में ईसाई मस्ताना मिटा दोगे तो क्या होगा, खुदी में ईसाई मस्ताना मिटा दोगे तो क्या होगा, हवस का पर्दा चश्मों पे मुझे मालिक दिखे कैसा, हवस का पर्दा चश्मों पे मुझे मालिक दिखे कैसा, मुझे भी खालिके रहमान दिखा दोगे तो क्या होगा, मुझे भी खालिके रहमान दिखा दोगे तो क्या होगा, खुदा के इश्क की मैं की किसाई बन गए साखी, खुदा के इश्क की मैं की किसाई बन गए साखी, शराब इश्क हक जाना पिला दोगे तो क्या होगा, शराब इश्क हक जाना पिला दोगे तो क्या होगा, वतन खुद छोड़ के हुमा तुम्हें ये अर्ज करता है, वतन खुद छोड़ के हुमा तुम्हें ये अर्ज करता है, तुम्हारे दर पे हूँ कुर्बान मिटा दोगे तो क्या होगा, तुम्हारे दर पे हूँ कुर्बान मिटा दोगे तो क्या होगा, मुझे भी आशिके यज़दान बना दोगे तो क्या होगा।
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। Jai Baba to all of you. I suppose we close now, okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you, Baba. Thank you,
Jai
everybody.
Baba, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai
Avatar,
Baba.
Meher Baba.
बाबा की जय
Jai
और
Baba.
मेहर
Thank you.
बाबा की जय
Cyrus, we should
Yes.
close all your meetings with a song from Soumya.
Okay. Vegetarian songs only, huh?
Yeah, pure veg,
Okay.
100% veg.
Okay, dear. Okay.
Okay.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Baba.
Jai Baba
Thank
to
you,
all of
Soumya.
you. Jai
Thank you,
Baba. Jai
Soumya.
Baba.
Jai
Thank you, Baba.
Baba.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba.
How's mommy,
Thank you,
Soumya?
Cyrus. Stay
How's
Soumya.
mommy?
Is with
I-
Alzheimer's, what can you expect? She's comedy of errors happening full time.
She's loving me more and more.
Yes.
Hi, Soumya.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you're all keeping well. Jai Baba, Didi. Thank you, Didi.